You know.
So you're either on this. I don't know.
We'll call this meeting in order unless Supervisor Wild lead us in a pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Conover?
Here.
Mr. Leggett?
Here.
Mr. Diamond?
Here.
Mr. McDevitt?
Here.
Ms. Bramer? Here. Mr. Bruno?
Here.
Mr. Driscoll?
Here.
Mr. Frazier? Here. Mr. Drossy?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Dickinson? Mr. Merlino? Mr. Straugh?
Here.
Mr. Wild?
Here.
Mr. McGowan?
Here.
Mr. Beatty?
Here.
Mr. Etu?
Here.
Mr. Thomas?
Here.
Ms. Runyon? Chairman Garrity?
Here.
Quorum is established.
At this time, I'd like to welcome Nathan E2 as the newest member of the board. I know Queensbury Supervisor John Schrow would like to say a few words.
Yes, well, I think we're very fortunate. Nathan E2 was chosen by the Queensbury Town Board to replace Hillary Stack as one of Queensbury's at-large county supervisors. Now he brings with us, and I've reviewed, and you would agree if you saw it, an outstanding resume. Both he and his siblings went through Queensbury. I'm familiar with the family. It's a very good and great family. Nathan, I'm confident, will be a very capable, very thoughtful county supervisor. So let's welcome Nathan E2.
Thank you. Okay, now I'll open up privilege of floor and public comment on anything to be discussed today. Anybody wish to address the board? No. Okay, need a motion to approve the minutes of the July 21st board meeting. Supervisor Smith, second by Supervisor Drossy. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Next, we have the Employee of the Month award. It's going to this month, we're going to present the award to Wayne Hayes. Wayne works at as a caseworker in CPS and DSS, and I'm going to ask Chris Hanchett, the commissioner, get up, say a few words, and introduce Wayne.
Morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to have Wayne Hayes as our Employee of the Month. Not only was he chosen at DSS, but when we nominated him, the committee that does that decided to choose him, obviously, for the entire Warren County Employee of the Month. Wayne is, you want to stand up for a second, Wayne, so everybody can see it? You're a handsome man. Wayne is just a joy to work with. He's, he's got a really good attitude. He's professional, smart, very capable. He raises departmental morale on a regular basis. I'll just say a few things here in regards to him. He started in January of 2022, leaving the private sector and decided to come to the public sector. During his tenure, Wayne has not only proven to be an asset to the county as an employee, but also to the families of Warren County. Wayne always volunteers to assist his coworkers whenever he can, and his positive attitude helps bring up morale within the unit. Wayne has a very special way of working with the families that he has on his caseload. He has several positive outcomes and was recently recognized by the New York State Office of Children and Family Services for exceptional casework. New York State started a program called Grand Rounds where they select examples of excellent casework and present them in various counties. And one of Wayne's cases was picked. It was a very difficult case and it had some really, really good outcomes. I actually had quite a bit of correspondence with OCFS in regards to that case. And it was exceptional casework. So thank you for that, Wayne. And I was glad you were recognized for that. Wayne has several agencies, providers, and clients and coworkers who have reported many positive interactions with Wayne. Sometimes some have reported interactions that have actually been life-changing. Wayne has been a great addition to the CPS unit, and we're lucky to have him at Warren County and at DSS. So thank you, Wayne, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anything you want to say?
We already did our picture and there's a certificate for when. Thank you so much. County. Next item, I'll declare a public hearing. I ask the clerk to read the notice of public hearing.
Notice is hereby given that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Warren, New York is considering the adoption of a proposed local law number 4 for the year 2023 entitled a local law amending local law number 1 of 2023, a local law fixing the salary of certain county officers and employees of Warren County to include interim salary increases. Notice is further given that pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Board of Supervisors on July 21st, 2023, a public hearing will be held by the Board of Supervisors on August 18th, 2023 at 10 a.m. in the supervisors' rooms at the Warren County Municipal Center, 1340 State Route 9, Queensbury, New York, at which time and place all persons interested in the matter of such proposed local law number 4 for the year 2023 will be heard concerning same. A copy of said local law is available for inspection during regular business hours by contacting the clerk of the Board of Supervisors at the above stated address and may be viewed on the Warren County website.
Okay, anybody wish to address the board on local law number 1 of 2023, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record. Anybody from the Board of Supervisors wish to make comments on local law number 1?
4.
Oh, excuse me. Local law number 4. Anybody? All right, we'll keep it open for a little bit and then we'll go on to report of committee chairs. And my report's pretty short. I attended the board meetings, inter-county legislative meeting in Fulton County. I attended a meeting on Balloon Festival in Queensbury. And I went and attended a meeting last week in a tourism group in Lake George. I attended the summer youth picnic held at Eastfield in Glens Falls. And then I've started attending budget discussions this week. And that's my report for this past month. And we'll go to Chairman Webb.
Sure, Supervisor.
Now, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Personnel met on the 4th of August. There's 3 resolutions in front of this board today. 395 is a salary adjustment for some of our senior leadership team. 396 is multifaceted. There's 2 part-time community services workers that help minimize the overtime of our current staff. There's a tourism coordinator and assistant public defender. And 397 is a modification to the part-time and temporary assistant social services attorney from 60 hours to 100 hours to help support the transition of our new social services attorney. And I appreciate everyone's support on these 3 resolutions. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Supervisor McGowan.
No report, thank you.
Supervisor Beatty.
No report.
Supervisor Ito, anything to add?
Just thank you for welcoming me. I did have the privilege of attending a housing forum last night in Chestertown, led by the supervisor at Chester, and very informative.
Good.
Thank you.
Supervisor Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The meetings with the department heads about their 2024 budgets have commenced and will continue for the next couple of weeks. They'll be meeting with their respective committees after the September board meeting at the September committee meeting. Thank you.
Supervisor Conover.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Public Works met on the 28th before you representative of resolutions 390, 391, 392, and 3 and 4. They're all really straightforward matters. 394 is a grant application of the Lake George Lake Champlain Regional Planning Commission. And they're basically project true ups to make sure that we get the reimbursements, the high level of reimbursements from the federal and state governments on these projects. So, and that concludes my report.
Supervisor Leggett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Besides the regular resolutions of 371, 372 of the supplemental appropriations and budget amendments, we have resolutions 398 through 305. There's 10 resolutions requiring roll calls altogether. On the 398, it's establishing a capital project for $271,000. 13,550 of it would be Warren County's share. Then there's moving vehicle reserve of the Sheriff's Department budget for a marine vessel of 102,000. You'll see that in Reso 372 that it books the revenue and the appropriations for that. 400 is appropriating funds from unappropriated surpluses to fund interim salary increases for non-bargaining unit employees. It's for a total of $144,000. That's to take us through to the end of the year, and then they would be those full increases for the rest of the year. We'll be pulling $138,530 out of our unappropriated fund balance. Of the A fund, 4,400 out of highway and 1,000 out of the vehicle fund. 401 there, this is increasing project for Palisades Roads. These were referred to by the chairman of that committee, Conover here. Same thing with 402, just truing up there. Warren County share would be $232 for 401 and $21,822 for 402. Under 403, it's appropriation of funds from motor fuel systems reserves for repairs to 5 fuel sites for $14,346. 404 on occupancy tax. It's a increasing award to ice castles for $150,000. You also see that in that resolution, we're suspending the award cap, which was set at $50,000 for any event. So we're tripling over that. 405, we are taking unappropriated fund balance to cover the cost of court-ordered New York State criminal law competency exam and restoration to the tune of $300,000. And it's when we look through our whole budget, it is just amazing how much mental health costs the county and the country. That's the end of my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Diamond.
No reports.
Supervisor McDevitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last Friday evening, I was happy to attend a meeting at the Inn of Eloquest, and it was the annual meeting of the Lake George Land Conservancy. I was the guest of Supervisor Strow, and essentially this is a group of really good people whose intent is to protect Lake George. The Lake George Land Conservancy is an accredited not-for-profit land trust dedicated to protecting willing landowners and other partners to protect the world-renowned water quality of Lake George and to permanently preserve the natural, scenic, historic, and recreational resources of the Lake George region. Again, it was a great event, and again, only highlights a group of some very good people whose intent and goal is to protect Lake George for all of us. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Bramer.
Thank you. Environmental Concerns and Real Property Tax Services has one resolution in front of you today. At the committee meeting, we heard from our DPW superintendent about how this property has been secured. But the director of Real Property and our county attorney's office updated us on how the property came into county ownership through the foreclosure proceeding. And the committee is recommending an immediate online auction to dispose of this piece of property at 27 Indiana Avenue. So I hope you'll be supportive of the committee's decision on that. And then we also had a robust discussion about real property tax exemption, a partial exemption for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers. And the county attorney has prepared a resolution for us to consider at the next meeting. And also at the next meeting, we'll be talking about the climate change initiatives that are being undertaken throughout the county. So look forward to that meeting. Thanks for your support. That's my report.
Supervisor Bruno.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. County facilities met on July 28th. There are three resolutions before you, 373, 374, and 375. Pretty straightforward. 373 is rescheduling the Young Eagles fly-in, which was postponed, changed the date due to weather. 374 is authorizing an agreement with McFarland Johnson to provide consultant services for the design and construction of the four-box PAPI. PAPI stands for Precision Approach Path Indicator System, which assists the aircraft when they're coming into land. The existing systems have outlived their useful life and need to be replaced. And there is no funding required. That's a 95 and 5 funding, 90% from the FAA, 5% from the state, and 5% from the county. And that amounts to $13,550, which Superintendent Hajos already has in his budget, so no cost there. 375 is authorizing conveyance of town of Queensbury tax map parcel, whatever it is there. That was inadvertently assigned or given to the DPW department, and it should have gone to county. So this is just rectifying that, correcting that. Additionally, bear with me. We discussed the Joseph Warren Museum and are going ahead with designs for the exterior, some of the interior, and hope to have that project completed by 2025 to coincide with the bicentennial, 250th anniversary, I guess. Is okay. And additionally, the regional morgue, we're continuing to look at that. Collected, or Mr. Hajos' department has collected a lot of data on that, and we'll be discussing that further and gauging the level of possible participation from other counties, state, that sort of thing. And that concludes my report.
Okay, Supervisor Driscoll.
Thank you, Chairman. The Human Services Committee met this past month. From that meeting came resolutions 386, which deals with the countryside adult home, and 387, which is an increase to the burial allowance for indigent persons. That's an amount that hasn't been changed for a number of years. Late yesterday afternoon, I received a notice, an email from the Youth Bureau that they've received their annual funding. So soon we'll be hearing about the breakdown of monies to individual municipalities. This past Wednesday, I attended the budget meeting for Cornell Cooperative Extension. That went very well. Thank you for those who led that meeting. Veteran Services and Department of Social Services and Countryside budget meetings will be held on Friday morning, September 1st, the last day of scheduled budget meetings. And I invite my colleagues to attend those meetings if you would like to. There will be no Human Services Committee meeting this month or next week. But all the departments are doing good work, as I've said in the past. And also, I was able to attend the youth employment picnic this past week, and it's always a inspiring picnic, getting together with a lot of the communities that employ young men and women from throughout our county. And what I really was moved by was from all of the kids who are working, I think it was 5 or 6 have already been offered part-time employment while they're going to school at the sites that they were working at this summer. So that's, I take that as being the leaders of tomorrow, and it's a great program, and we need to continue to support their efforts. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Supervisor Frazier.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Health Services met on July the twenty-fifth. As a result of that meeting, we have resolutions 381 through 385. 381 authorizes agreement with Pure Foods Holdings to provide mom's meals to those clients who are on special diets. 382 authorizes a memorandum of understanding between Warren County's Office of the Aged and the St. Lawrence County Health Initiative. 383 authorizes business associate agreement with St. Lawrence County Health Initiative. And 384 approves Warren County's Health Services Annual Report for 2022. I hope all my members of the committee got a chance to look that report over. There was a lot of information there. And 385 authorizes the bid and authorizing agreement with Durham Inc. for transportation for preschool children with disabilities. And that's my report. We meet next week. Thank you.
Supervisor Drossy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee did not meet in July, so you have no resolutions before you today. Our next meeting is next Wednesday, August 23rd at 9 a.m. And also our budget meetings for the various departments are scheduled for August 25th and 28th. Thank you.
Supervisor Smith.
No report, Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have one report for OCTAX on resolution 389. That's to amend the occupancy tax to support Ice Castle for this coming year. And I have no report for tourism. Thank you, sir.
Supervisor Trout.
Yes, resolution 388 that came to the Legislative Rules and Government Operations Committee from Insurance and Safety Administrator Amy Klug. And what it is proposing an adoption of Warren County permit required confined spaces, and a list of those spaces is attached. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else wish to comment on local law number 4 of 2023, which amends local law number 1 of 2023? Anybody? I'll declare that public hearing closed. And we'll go on to report of county administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 25th of July, we had the committee meetings, of course. On the 27th of July, I went with Bob Bombard of the Soil and Water Conservation District to sample the lakes and rather the ponds and reservoirs that supply water to Glens Falls. After a couple attempts, not so elegant, I did learn the most efficient way to get in and out of a canoe. We did not go in once, so that was good. The quality of Glens Falls water is extremely good. I know Supervisor Bruno has done this as well, and encourage anyone else who'd like an adventure to do it. It's a beautiful area. 28th of July committee meetings. The 2nd of August, I met with a number of our local nonprofit organizations to discuss the migrant situation in the state. I provided them the latest updates on migrants in New York City, and we discussed the possibility of our nonprofit organization sponsoring migrants or migrant families in Warren County. All stated they are currently in no position to do that, but we promised we'd all stay in touch and keep each other informed about changing situation. You may have seen there's an article in the Times Union yesterday about the governor's position on migrants. I encourage everyone to read that if they have not. At this time, we will keep our emergency order in place, and we do not anticipate New York City attempting to relocate any number of migrants to Warren County. 3rd of August, again, committee meetings. On the 4th of August, I met with Jim Siplon, John Wheatley, and Jason Guzzo of the Hudson Valley Wireless. And basically, it was a discussion about using the use of microwave technology to possibly fill in some of the gaps for wireless service that we have across, for mobile cell phone service that we have across the county. And the EDC is going to take the lead in that, and we're probably going to do a test with Hudson Valley Wireless out in Stony Creek to see if this technology will offer some solutions to some of the problems we have that everyone knows about. Don't believe it's a solution for the entire county, but we need to see what the possibilities are. As the chairman mentioned, on the 9th of August, attended a visit by ranking member of the Tourism Committee, Assemblyman Scott Gray of the 116th District over by Watertown. Our own Assemblyman, Matt Simpson, along with Chairman Garrity, Supervisor Marilino, our Tourism Director, and members of the Lake George hospitality community. We discussed some of the great happenings in the Lake George area and some of the challenges we face. Assemblyman Gray has posted information on his website. He did a statewide tour, tourism tour, and he's got a lot of good information on that, highlighting his visit with us. On the 9th of August, I met with Jeremy Dewars and Taylor Testa, who run our contract program at SUNY Adirondack to help us with the Adirondack Peer-to-Peer Veterans Program. They're doing great things for the veterans in Warren and Washington counties, and we discussed ways we could provide additional assistance to them from the Joseph P. Dwyer Grant Fund. You may recall Joseph Dwyer was from Suffolk County, enlisted in the Army after 9/11, went to Iraq. He became famous for a picture of him carrying an alien Iraqi boy during an engagement. And he was later diagnosed with PTSD and took his own life in 2008. There's a real strong partnership between us at our Veteran Services Office, our Mental Health Agency, Washington County Veteran Services Office, and SUNY Adirondack with us. They're really doing good things. 10th of August, I visited Supervisor Drassi and Brant Lake. Enjoyed the visit, and good chance to see Horkin in the Brant Lake area. We do have the most beautiful county in New York, without a doubt. So I know everyone recognizes that. On the 14th of August, we began implementation of the ClearGov budget program that's going to make it easier for supervisors and the general public to access and display county budget information. So we'll keep you posted, and there'll be some training that will be offered on ClearGov. It's going to be a really, I think, a positive impact on the county. As Chairman Driscoll mentioned, attended the employment picnic. Workforce Development Organization does phenomenally well with that program and many of the other programs that they run. And the 14th of August, budget meetings kicked off, as Supervisor Thomas has said. I'd like to recognize some of our employees for their years of service. I'm going to do August, and I missed July last month. So Robert Smith of the Sheriff's Office with 30 years, Anthony Fidd of DPW with 30 years, and Tammy Morehouse with 25 years of Countryside Adult Home in August. And from July, Jessica Barton of DPW with 20 years, Terry Combs, Gregory Dunn, Charles Geisler, and Jesse Wittenberg, all of the Sheriff's Office with 20 years. We thank them for their excellent service. At this time, I'd like to recognize two gentlemen that have joined us today, who are department heads and have played significant roles in Warren County over almost 70 years of service combined. And both are retiring at the end of August and the beginning of September. First, Wayne Lamott. Dan, please. Retiring as Director of Planning after 42 years of service to Warren County. Started as an intern in 1981 and was hired full-time in 1984, before I was born, I believe. Helped secure over 50 million in grant funding, actually almost 100 million in grant funding for this county over the time. And he also helped found the first Wilderness Heritage Corridor. And he was recently presented with a Heisenbutel Award for Planning Excellence. And that's the highest award that the New York Planning Foundation gives. Thank you, Wayne, for your many years of service to Warren County. So everybody can sit down except Chris Hanchett, who is Chris is retiring as a Commissioner of Social Services after almost 25 years of service to Warren County. He has began his service here as a caseworker. He was a caseworker in foster care, a senior caseworker, and a supervisor of adoption and foster care. He was appointed as commissioner in 2018 and then reappointed in 2023. And the impact he's had on the Social Services Agency has just been phenomenal over the past years. And we appreciate Chris's long service to the county. We will have a short retirement celebration on the 31st of August after the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting. It'll be 12 o'clock. We hope many of you can attend that. And with that, I think I'm done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Report of acting, Deputy County Attorney Robert Swover.
County Attorney Ellen will have a report for the board at the next meeting.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman.
yes.
I think at this time, I would like to, both the county attorney and I would like to go into an executive session. Pursuant to Public Officers Law, Section 105, 1F, matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person. And also, we have
Under Public Officers Law, Section 105(1)D, relating to potential proposed or pending litigation, as a matter that we'd also like to ask if the board would like to discuss that in executive session. It involves a company with which the county once had a contract.
So they have a
we'd
motion.
like, I'm sorry, we'd like Ryan Dickey and and Trish Nenninger and Jackie Figueroa to remain in the executive session.
I have a motion by Supervisor Grassi, second by Supervisor Wild. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We're in executive session then.